George R. Brown Convention Center is packed this weekend for the Houston Comicon, a two-day celebration of pop culture that included movie and television stars, comic and animation creators, and dealers from all over Houston. Many come dressed as their favorite characters and immerse themselves in this event. What was once called nerd culture has now grown to big business, generating billions of dollars every year.
There is something for everyone at the amazing Houston Comicon. Tens of thousands of comic book fans expected to take part in the three-day event. The convention took place here in Houston at George R. Brown Convention Center and featured a show floor packed with more than 100 exhibitors, including this Filipino-owned store, Toy Thug.
Basically, they are little collectibles that people, this brand, Pop Funko, they've pretty much been in the business for a long time, and they've got licensing in pretty much anything you could ask for, as far as like Star Wars. They even do NFL, any movie, any pop culture type theme. They do these, and people are really going crazy over them.
To the collectors who attend the Comic-Cons across the world, comic collecting is serious business. I spoke with the owners of the local comic shop, Dork Buzz, and asked them how much would I need to get my hands on one of these highly sought-after comic books.
Okay, so Brad, what is this? Can you tell me a little bit about this comic book?
Oh, absolutely. What we've got here is a copy of Amazing Fantasy 15. It is the origin and the first appearance of Spider-Man as written by Stan Lee. This is what actually kicked off the superhero comics most of us know and remember from the 1960s. We have this one priced at the show for around $12,000. Obviously most people don't walk around with that much sitting in their pocket, so of course we're willing to wheel and deal. This is a little less. Spider-Man, everybody knows Spider-Man. Hulk, not so much. Everybody knows the Hulk, but everybody loves Spider-Man. We have this one at $6,000.
Oh, so half of the price of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
There's one part of Comic-Con that never gets old. My favorite, the fan costumes. In the middle of the floor was an exciting exhibition called Artist Alley, with more than 200 artists holding autograph sessions and giving fans access to some of their favorite comic book creators. I had the honor to spend some time with an icon in the comic industry, the creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mr. Kevin Eastman.
You created Ninja Turtles. I'm just curious, why turtles? Why not ninja rabbits or elephants or giraffes?
Sloths or monkeys. They really started because I grew up a huge fan of Bruce Lee, and I thought one night I was thinking if Bruce Lee was an animal, what would be the silliest animal he would be? And I'm thinking, all right, you have a very fast-moving martial artist, slow-moving turtle just seemed to be a natural joke, and it made me laugh. So that was the original spark of inspiration.
Wow, so why did you make them all brothers? What happened to sisters? What happened to the girls?
Well, that's a good question too, and it was like one of those, for it's always, superheroes seem to be a male-dominated, component, Captain America, or Iron Man, the Hulk, and all that stuff, and so I think it was just a natural, I don't say accident, but it was just sort of they're all brothers and Mutant Turtles, and we have to think that when we did it, we didn't think anybody would buy a single copy of it anyway, and it was just for ourselves, and so it was just if you'd have told me 32 years ago when the Turtles were born that I'd be here 32 years later still talking about Turtles, it's so.
Yeah.
Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and the X-Men characters, almost everyone is at least familiar with them. But not many know that Filipinos have drawn the exploits of these and other characters going on several decades now. Since the 1970s, Filipinos have had a significant contribution in the comic and superhero industry. But sadly, in terms of comic book history, these creators are often left unaccredited for their work.
Sam, are there a lot of Filipinos in the industry?
Well, when I bought comics in the 70s, there were a lot of Filipino artists working for Marvel Comics. Also DC Comics, they worked on superheroes, they worked on Conan, they worked on mystery and ghost stories, even romance stories.
Some of the best artists I've worked with have been Filipino.
This is Chris Claremont, a legend in the comic industry. Chris is the co-creator of the X-Men and is widely recognized for making the character Wolverine so popular. He's also the co-writer of X-Men #1, the best-selling comic book of all time.
Worked with a number of artists from the Philippines who are remarkably good. They all started hearing what Marvel was actually paying for their rates, which was not what they were getting in Manila and other cities from their agent, and they all decided, time to emigrate. So next thing we knew, they all showed up over here. And Marvel still didn't pay them a heck of a lot, but it was a lot more than they were getting in the Philippines.
Tony DeZanuga, the artist Chris mentioned, was the first Filipino comic book artist whose work was accepted by American publishers, paving the way for many other Filipino artists to enter the international comic book industry. His pioneering artwork on the popular horror comics of the day and the Western comic Jonah Hex are considered highly collectible classics.
But yeah, I was very familiar with the Filipino artists, and they're just fantastically talented people. Just great artists. Like when I was growing up, there was the Ronaldo brothers, there was Alex Nino, Alfredo Alcala.
As you can see, Filipino artists are admired by some of the greatest comic artists in the world. Alfredo Alcala Jr., creator of the Filipino comic Volter, also artist for The Swamp Thing and Conan. Abe Ocampo, known for his work on Scooby-Doo, The Smurfs, and the Paddington Bear. And of course, Mars Ravelo, creator of our most popular Filipino superhero, Darna. Of all the artwork and costumes I saw during the show, I never saw a version of Darna. So I asked a few of the most prominent comic artists at the show if they knew of our Filipina superhero icon.
Okay, Chris, have you heard of a superhero named Darna?
No.
D-A-R-N-A.
Actually, no.
You haven't heard about Darna?
Am I going to get punched in the face if I did?
You're not going to get a prize if you don't know Darna.
I don't. I'm sorry. Darna?
D-A-R-N-A.
I have not.
You have not.
It doesn't ring a bell, but if I saw a picture, I might, so. But.
I have not.
Darna, D-A-R-N-A.
No, who is that?
Darna.
No.
You don't know Darna is? Darn.
Surely our Filipino friends back at Toy Thug will know who Darna is.
Darna.
No, I haven't.
I know Meritus.
I can't believe you guys haven't heard of a superhero named Darna.
No, we haven't heard of Darna. Sorry.
I am not having any luck. Isn't there anyone here who has heard of Darna?
Was it a Filipino superhero?
Yes, how did you know?
And she's kind of like Wonder Woman?
Yes! Good
Okay.
job, give me 5. I think you're the very first one
I
that
grew
got
up,
it.
just so you know, I grew up in Hawaii,
Oh,
in Waipahu, surrounded by
that's
Filipinos.
right.
If you have never been to a Comicon, you definitely should treat yourself to the experience. The atmosphere is full of fun, history, celebrities, and you will gain a much greater appreciation for the fabulous artwork on display. Cheryl Piccio, PHTV. Visit me on Facebook and let me know what you thought about today's episode. Don't forget to like the page. See you soon!